The Princess and the Pea is definitely an interesting take on the classic story of The Princess and the Pea. First of all, that cover is gorgeous. It's a shockingly bright green. I find it very appealing. This is, of course, written and illustrated by Adam Hargreaves. This was published originally in 2015. And it starts off with the princess being lost in terrible weather, and she goes to Mr. Uppity's house. And because she's lost her crown along the way, he says, well, you have to prove you're a princess. Unfortunately, various other Mr. Men and Little Miss characters keep getting in the way of her various princess tests, until ultimately they decide to do the pea test, which, as the classic story goes, you put a tiny pea under a bunch of mattresses, and if the princess wakes up complaining of a bad night's sleep, it's meant that she's got such delicate skin she could have felt the pea all through those mattresses. And there is a slight twist, which I will reveal in a second, but I will say, as I've mentioned with every other Mr. Man book that mentions the princess and the pea, rather the Little Miss Princess, they capitalise P when it's a common noun. And it really does my head in. And I know it's such a small, trivial thing, but you'd think they'd get it right. See if I can find an example. Let's see. There we go. You can't possibly be a princess. That's a common noun. It should be a lowercase p. They also did it with the world as well. In the world, that's the common noun. Interestingly, but that aside, it had a very different ending, and it actually really made me think. She pointed out the pea and said you should have used an uncooked pea, not a cooked pea. And it just made me think, I don't think any Princess and the Pea that I've ever watched or seen actually specified that it had to be a frozen or an uncooked pea, because of course a cooked pea would just squish straight away. But I thought it was a nice take on the story. It's very different. The character herself is quite cute. Definitely not a bad book at all.